Alright, so very first results are in. Are you ready for the reveal? Because I am not. Holy sh... What are the numbers? Sheesh! Because now that seems broken. Like, I don't know about you, but holy, this seems illegal. Like having Eco Chalice on a ground unit. No, that's an illegal gamer move. You can't do that. I spent the last 7+ hours putting this video together for you. I had a massive amount of fun recording this. The results are so amazing, and I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I do. And the greatest thing you could do to help me out would be to leave a like, even leave a comment telling me how you feel about Talin. Maybe I'm overreacting, maybe I'm underselling. And if you haven't yet, a subscription would go a very long way. Thank you very much, and on with the video. What's good, y'all, and welcome to this Talin showcase. The plan for today is to be exploring everything about her to truly give you an idea of how should you split your summons between Anora being the limited, which is guaranteed, and her being a just raid up unit on a banner. There is still a possibility for it to be a 2x, 20x, at which point it would be almost a no-brainer. But at this point, we still also don't have any idea how powerful she truly ends up being. So for that, we're going to briefly go over her kit and then test out not only her normal form, which is on the platforms, but also her bear form in both single target and AoE to see if there's maybe anything we're missing. And besides that, we're going to be just briefly going over the kit. So you have a 15% attack increase that goes for both forms. She can be deployed on both tiles, which we've mentioned, and if you were to place her on the ground, you're going to be gaining a bear stance where you reduce the attack range to only one tile in front, you increase and you're reducing the attack speed, so slower attacks, slower or less range, but these attacks in exchange do AoE physical damage to enemies in range, and you're increasing your block by 3, so 2-4, because she can't equip tank artifacts or fighter artifacts for that matter. You're also increasing max HP by 100% and converting 80% of the attack to defense. The real question there is he now like super tanky, or is he keeping the attack? And that's what we're going to pretty much see alongside of everything else we're doing. And then important, you can also pretty much play around with her a lot more, because you can have her on the bear stance, pull her out, and then 45 seconds later deploy her on a platform. You have 120% magic damage to one enemy, so yeah, she's a magic marksman. Nature's Fury is every 8 attack launch, she triggers a 480% damage hit that also dispels a debuff on the target, so specifically good for Guild Boss 2. And when the ultimate is triggered, this effect gets triggered alongside the ultimate. So let's say, for example, you're doing your 8 attacks, it triggers Nature's Fury, you trigger the ultimate, it triggers Nature's Fury again directly after. While in Berserker stance, so the ground stance, this effect is changed to attacks have a 20% chance to trigger a ground stomp. Ground stomp is a 340% AoE physical damage to 5 enemy targets within 2 rows ahead and knocks them back. During the ultimate, the attack range expands and inflicts stun on hit targets for 1 second. We will have a look at her pushback and see if there's any viability for this in Gear Dungeon 2, just to like kind of check it off. But yeah, Iron Bark armor when deployed gains a stack of Thorn Shield every 15 seconds up to 15 stacks each time Nature's Fury is triggered, reduces cooldown by 5 seconds. So you're looking at a 2% up to a 30% attack and defense increases with Awakenings, and you're gaining these every 15 seconds, which goes down to 10 seconds when whenever you trigger Nature's Fury. So Nature's Fury is every 8 attacks. While in Berserker stance, this effect is changed to, it reduces the cooldown once every second when you get healed, or by 1 second every time you get healed, but this happens can happen only every 2 seconds. And then lastly, the ultimate is you are reducing attack interval by 50%, so you're increasing the attack speed by 50%, and your attacks all of a sudden ignore 60% magic resistance. While in Berserker stance, instead of the earlier buff, you're getting a 50% attack increase, which also gets converted into defense. You're getting a 20% damage reduction, which should be the same as what, for example, an Ellen and a Diao give, so the usual just physical attack and defense down. Here, physical and magical damage reduction. And then lastly, you also dispel debuffs from the hero when taking damage, as well as 5% of max HP for the hero and adjacent allies. So you have a bit of like AoE healing. So there shouldn't be too many questions about her kit. It all seems pretty straightforward, which means we can already get into testing because we have a lot to do. If I am to declare a hero as a must summon or a Abyss 1 solution, then she has to keep up with the very best. The very best in this case are going to be Hex and Wukong. So every one of these heroes is wearing equal gear, and Wukong as well as Hex are both in their exclusive, both wearing their exclusive artifacts. And yeah, stat wise we're looking at exactly the same builds. So can she keep up with the big boys? That's what we need to find out. We're going to be going over everything, and also especially awakenings to know how many you truly need. And just so you know how it works, I'll show you. So we be bringing in Elowind for Rage Region, Diao for the inspiration. We bring them in early so that there's no inspiration boosts for any of these units, meaning that all of them are playing at the exact same rules. And we are going to be then obviously bringing in our Nightmare units to increase Wukong's attack speed. And then to eliminate human error, we'll be putting it into auto ultimates, and we see each other on the damage chart. Alright, so very first results are in. Are you ready for the reveal? Because I am not. Holy like, oh boy. I think we're onto something here. I think we might be onto a hero that is disgustingly good. So I still got it when it comes to kit reading. So keep in mind everybody's currently A0, but we're looking at Talin. It's basically the same thing. Like, oh my, 99.6 million at A0 alongside, keep in mind they have their exclusive artifact. She doesn't have an exclusive artifact. This is incredible. Like, this is really good. This is really good. So what we're now going to do is give you an idea of what happens if we were to use Spirit Siphon, because my thought process is the Blightcrawler's Claw might be great, but in Abyss 1 it's going to clash against her purpose, because Blightcrawler's Claw does physical damage upon triggering, which wouldn't help against the magic shield. So we're going to run the same thing with Spirit Siphon just to see how big of a DPS loss that truly is. Alright, so last time we had 98 million, and what you're going to notice is that there's a significant drop in damage output for Talin, exactly 10 million, which is almost a 10% damage decrease. My main guess is probably because she's increasing her attack speed during her ultimate, allowing her to get out more attacks than is usual for a marksman, allowing her to take better effect of the added physical damage. So this is already, you could say, a bump in expectations for us when we get into Abyss 1 later down the line, but you can see Hex still in like the 100 to 108 million range, and Wukong is still doing his thing at 113. So that still gives us a couple of awakenings to go through and really see what we're dealing with. Quick interlude. I also tested out Shadow Gaze with pretty much similar results to Spirit Siphon. So Shadow Gaze does seem to be more of a limited to Lucius kind of deal, even though she should be able to get this 40% attack bonus relatively safely during her ultimate. It doesn't seem to be quite enough, so Claw still supreme, and Spirit Siphon and Shadow Gaze are actually tied. So this time everybody A1. Expectations are a bit higher considering that Hex and Talin are the only ones that have like a damaging A1. So interesting. The way it looks like it takes a A1 Hex or a A1 Talin to truly match Wukong's A0, which doesn't bode too well for when Wukong whoops out that A3 and that A5. Keep in mind, Talin does cap out damage-wise on the A3 already, while Wukong gets his first and second damage awakenings on 3 and 5, and Hex gets his on 1, 3 and 5. So overall, it's still not a bad score, but the real important awakenings for Hex and Wukong are yet to come. So how does she stack up? So Wukong's A3, Hex's most important awakening, and Talin's last damage increase. How are the numbers? Oof. So Hex massive jump with the A3, which is only expected. Talin a decent jump from the around the 30 million jump from the A1 to the A3, but Wukong also already on 143 million. So before we get into the A5 and kind of crush our hopes and dreams of Talin a little bit, not by much, but by a little, what I really see as her lacking is an exclusive artifact. It is becoming ever more apparent that to have a truly strong hero, not only do they need to have a good kit with good stats, good interactions and good multipliers, they also need to provide alongside of that, or need to be provided with a matching exclusive artifact. Because, for example, if we didn't have Hex's exclusive artifact, he wouldn't even be playing in the same league as these heroes. Wukong's exclusive also gives him more rage, gives him more clones, gives him more damage. Same with Kigiri's. Kigiri's marks a target, making him deal more damage against that target. So the thing that separates like the great heroes from like the truly great heroes is a exclusive artifact, or the fact that they're just overly broken, or a lot. So let's get into the A5 and then lastly a fully geared, full potential run just to see how far can we push these heroes actually. So how big is the difference truly, and how well can you compare if you do get Talin to A3, which is a high ask, because mind you, you either have to use Soul Stones, which is better used on limited units in most cases, or you have to pull a total of 4 times, which is by no means an easy feat. So we have Wukong and Hex coming both in at over 200 million, while she stays at her solid 146. Now, the one of the, I guess you could say, issues here is obviously the better you make the gear, the better you improve the exclusive artifacts, the higher the difference will be, which you'll see in a bit when we pretty much use the best gear we have available to boost these 3 units. But overall, considering the fact that these two have an exclusive, that these two are both A5, I would say this is more than enough to be considered a good result. Like 146 million there. It already seems like if you don't have a Hex, she's pretty much a must-have. Also consider the fact that, for example, Hex is really crucial in Gear Dungeon 2, and she can 100% replace him. You can just place her down, kill the kill the physical resistance clones, and then take her out again. She'll also have that extra respawn time if necessary, and technically you could even use her as a fighter if you have to do some last minute blocking. But now onto like the full all-out version. How does Talin truly stack up against insurmountable odds? We have Hex and Wukong both in their 25 exclusive artifacts, and gear-wise you're looking at for everyone 4 stat with attack flat. So no rage region on anybody, all of them are 4 stat with attack flat. She is on A3. Because that's really the point where you should stop this penetration. Really shouldn't do a whole lot, especially considering during her ultimate she already gained 60% penetration. Anyway, outside of that, we're also going to be ensuring that every single one of these units is getting a Wings of Grace buff in comparison to the last ones. And let's get onto the results. Alright, result time, what are we looking at? Oof. So 332 million on Wukong. He is just that step above the competition. 293 on Mr. Hex, but then you also got Talin. Keep in mind we're comparing to 25 exclusives as well as A5s, with obviously Hexes and Wukongs both giving a damage increase, while Talin's at A3 doesn't. But for an A3 unit to even have the ability to hit 207 million is once again very impressive, and the only thing that's really missing is an exclusive artifact, right? As soon as she gets that one, she's going to be even better than before. So the next few things we're going to have to go over are a couple Gear Dungeon 1 and Gear Dungeon 2 interactions. So number 1, is she able to kill the clone? Is she able to kill the Volker clone? And number 2, can she do enough pushback at the bottom lane to be considered a tank for the bottom lane? Outside of that, yeah, we'll just have to see mostly probably Abyss 1. Alright, so here we are for Gear Dungeon 2. We have to test a couple things. Number 1, first the bear form. Yeah, let's start with the bear form, see about the knockback. Then we'll check if she can kill the top magic clone. And after that we'll have a look at her ability to deal with one of the Volker clones if there is a Silas shooting onto that clone, for example. So there's a couple things we'll have to test, but for the first one, let's just see if her knockback is enough. And also keep in mind, we currently have her built in a DPS build. So if this does work, that means you don't have to specifically make her tanky, right? You don't have to specifically put her into a tank gear. And I mean, you can see that she does the same amount of damage as an Astrid, which is kind of crazy as like her being this bear person thing. So I don't know. Let's see. So we have a 20% chance per attack. That's 1. Let's give it another chance. So that's 1. That's 2. So it is possible. It just, I don't know. Let's increase the attack speed, see how it goes. So I am not gonna pretend I did that in my head. I usually should be able to, but I am just probably a bit too lazy right now to do that myself. So we went on a website to give us a nice answer. So we have a probability of success of 0.2. We have a 20% chance per basic attack to trigger the knockback. We have exactly 7 attacks before it implodes. If we were to push the attack speed a bit more, if we counted like exactly correctly, we would have 8, but we're going to go with 7. So we have 7 attacks and the number of successes we need is 2. So what are the odds of us triggering a 20% chance twice during 7 trials? Exactly twice is 27%, but we don't care about exactly twice. What we need is a result that is higher than 2. Any result higher or equal to 2 is acceptable, which means a 42% chance. Now a 42% chance really isn't all that great, which means you were to go into this run, you would look at this and what you would be getting was a 42% chance and then another 42% chance. So no, you're probably gonna like rip your hair out in frustration. And then also this has to apply to the auto. Keep that in mind. So I do not recommend trying to do the pushback at the bottom lane unless we're getting an exclusive artifact which increases the chance of the ground stomp triggering. Devs, that is your call to make. Get it out. But overall, honestly, the damage is really impressive. Like, we're looking at really good damage. The ability to push back, just not high enough a trigger chance for this to truly work. Alright, so we have everything prepared for her to see if she can do the same thing a Hex can, which is be placed right there and have the ability to kill the Volker clone before it starts moving. And you know what else I've thought about? She has a 15-second reduction in the respawn time, meaning that she might be able to fight both waves. Like usually you would, for example, kill them there and then use her again to deal with like the physical clones, and then you would move her down right here to deal with the physical resistant clones coming down here. But especially like this, she might already have a chance, and if she doesn't, she might be able to, if you were to include a Volker in the team, where in this case you would, for example, just take out Astrid. So let's see how this goes. Let's have her show us her damage impact. Alright, so the clone is here. We're starting off with the 480% damage shot, and then just more of like the normal damage shots. Anything else we need to pay attention to? Yeah, I guess we could trigger Silas there. So you can see that the burst isn't quite a hex, but she is able to do it. And the reason why I could even say she's reliably able to do it is because, if you keep in mind, she triggers it at fixed intervals of every 8 attack, right? Every 8 attacks. And also we could have triggered the ultimate maybe a bit earlier, but yeah, she does it every 8 attacks. So with the ultimate and then 16 attacks, you're going to get this result. And trust me, her gear can most definitely be improved upon. So there's a couple options. Number one, we could be making Silas weaker by taking one of the attack speed pieces out, reducing his attack speed to only 170, meaning he would be attacking less. You could be reducing Silas's artifact, meaning he would be attacking for less damage. Your Silas could be less awakened, meaning your Silas would hit for less. And then on the Talin side of things, obviously a 1 or a 3 for even more damage potential. But outside of that, also what we can test, I'm like somewhat certain this is not gonna fix it, but we could also try to give her a full attack piece set and see how that does. Alright, same scenario, same setup, no Volker, just this time full on attack speed, and potentially us placing her in a little bit earlier. She also has a 20% rage regen stat, which might just be the thing pushing her over the edge. So we're looking at obviously 53. I don't even know for how much damage we were able to hit last time. Would have probably been a good idea to have a closer look at that. But okay, let's see. So we're getting to like half the health. And it does look like just adding in full on attack percent might just give us a little bit of a damage increase. Nothing substantial, but a little bit. And you can see it was decently close, but we neither needed to make any awakenings. We neither needed to make her weaker, and she was able to deal with that clone. So now the question though, can she be back in time for... Oh yeah, Hatset dying there? We should have ulted. But could she be back in time to deal with another physical clone? Like a lot of these things you kind of now like at this point have to imagine, right? So here's the physical clone. Obviously other one wouldn't have died. So let's see. So we're looking at 14 seconds, just moving in. We obviously can't simulate a tank, but then it would be like 8 seconds of the clone being there. I would say it's very possible if you just have a Volker instead of a Astrid. And what does this actually help you with, right? What does this actually do? So you are basically reducing the amount of gear you need, number one, right? You're reducing the amount of gear you need, and that is by you not having to provide someone. So usually you're using someone like a Glacius or a Nocturne or a Praetus or whoever you have a good single target mage to take out that physical clone. But in this case, you could, for example, be completely taking out Glacius. And now that I think about it, if we take out Glacius, we could also just like for free place Volker in, right? Team would then look something like this. And the important part here is you're already getting the Lord bonus from Lunaria anyway. Imagine this with the Legendary Lord, it's going to go even better. Could be a Ingrid, could be Leia, could be Araka, could be Yova, whoever it is. It would make her even stronger, allowing her to like out damage Silas even better, especially if he doesn't ult, right? If he does ult, she doesn't really stand a chance because his burst is just massive. But this is the gear, and we were talking about stage 10 here. It's not that crazy. So you have one 4 stat with the rage region, but that can be fixed by just using Volker. So imagine this rage region not being there. Then you have a enormous 3 stat with crit rate, crit damage, attack speed. Another 3 stat with crit rate, crit damage, attack speed. And then here we have attack percent, crit rate, crit damage. And here we got attack percent, crit rate, crit damage. Artifact wise, we have a Spirit Siphon at 25. Just don't make the mistake of equipping a Blight Color's Claw, because that physical damage is not going to work out. So honestly, I am very impressed by her ability to deal with Gear Dungeon 2. So Gear Dungeon 2 10, big thumbs up. Been a while since we got such a solid unit there. And yeah, she's probably as solid as a Hex, especially once you get into that A1, A3. Keep in mind also, every time you redeploy her, she's going to be stronger than before. And that has to do with these stacks, right? These beautiful, beautiful Thorn Shield stacks, which grant her increased attack every 15 seconds, up to 15 stacks, blah, 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 blah. They stay after redeployment. So every time you bring her back in, she's going to have the chance to regenerate or generate more Thorn Shield stacks, meaning overall more damage. And here with the A1, obviously, every stack of Thorn Shield now increases damage by an extra 2%, which would basically make this a walk in the park. And then the A3 would allow you to instantly ult whenever you do place her down, which would make it like even easier to time. And you would be increasing the stack cap of 5, as well as gaining another 2% attack every time you ult, meaning you're just stacking it faster and faster and faster. So yeah, A1 is like, so A0, very possible. A1 makes it easy, and A3 makes it a breeze. Very, very happy with her Gear Dungeon 2 performance. Did surprise me a bit, but I was also kind of expecting, kind of hoping for her to, you know, be able to do this. So from something a bit more serious to something a bit more funky, how about we have a look at what she can do in Gear Raid 1, because I am very, very impressed by her performance on the AoE damage. Like, it wasn't great, like, mind you, but it was pretty good. Like, it was able to keep up with an Ingrid, considering the fact that she was in DPS gear, right? She was also able to tank. So two things, we're going to go in Gear Raid 1, see how she does damage wise, not going to be the full run. And then Gear Dungeon 1, we're going to try and see if it would be possible to tank with her, because that's like one of the hardest stages to tank. Let's tank AMR. How about we just tank AMR instead? But first, let's check out her secret second form DPS potential. Alright, so here's the game plan. We have Artemis and Talin main DPS, Diao A1 for support and inspiration, Elwyn and Hollow for raid regen, as well as also a Loris, so that we can get Artemis's ultimate ready every single time it's needed. And interestingly enough, what we're looking at here is a single piece of crit damage, followed by double attack percent, as well as attack percent, crit damage, attack percent, crit damage. So no 4 sets, nothing crazy. And what we're going to be trying out is the Sharpshooter's Crest. So for the first time ever, we shall see the effect of a Sharpshooter's Crest on the ground, though maybe Reaper's Emblem is actually better, because I'm not sure if Sharpshooter's Crest properly stacks, and Reaper's Emblem would work for both forms. So let's try it with Reaper's Emblem. You've seen the gear, it's nothing special, she is a 0. And only thing we are doing is providing Wings of Grace, but that you could also do by just doing a couple of forges. Doesn't even need to be a good set to apply the full bonus. So here we go. Gonna be very interesting to see how this turns out. Yeah. Alright, 15, 16. Enemies come in. We wait a bit for them to come in close. And then we just get going. Obviously, we pre-prepare Artemis for right here. Bring in our kind of like delays. So not only are we getting pushbacks, but we're also getting stuns as well as freezes with Mary. So at least when it comes to like the crowd control side of things, we are golden. One thing that might be holding back our beautiful combo here is the fact that we're only hitting 5 targets at the same time, right? So there's not a lot of people getting hit, but we do have the full effect of the knockback and everything like that. So Let's continue on. Let's get our rotations in. Wait for the Forsaken Totem. Get the freezes. Get the pushback. Especially with like the stun. Yep, pushback with the stun. Another freeze. Forsaken Totem, this one's gonna be a bit closer because I kind of forgot to activate Hollow in time, which is truly unfortunate. This could have been done better. Here we can freeze again. Another knockback stun ultimate. But so far we've dealt with everyone on the wall. I mean, so far it's not looking like it's impossible. So here we're obviously gonna wait for the Forsaken Totem. Wait for him to trigger. Wait for all of them to get close. Trigger our ultimates just to be safe that nobody dies. She's obviously safe behind the wall doing her thing. Obviously you use her ultimate too. Get that beautiful knockback, pushback. Everybody's still alive. Get that Artemis in. Get that freeze. Please don't die, Artemis. Please. Same goes for you, Diao. Please, please don't die. This would be so... I hate you, Gear 1. Did you know that? But you know, it would be an even better showing if this still works. Am I right? If this still works, it would be an even better showing of just how well this is working out. Keep in mind, we have the ability to add in another DPS. We have all these things we could have been doing. So this is by no means a perfect representation. Also, gear could have been done better. Awakenings aren't included. You know, you name it. There's a couple things that could have been done differently, but we're doing it. We're clearing this fight. She is actually pulling in stuff. She's doing the work. Obviously, this whole thing would have been a lot more difficult without Artemis, but now look at this. Look at this fancy business move. We take her out. We only have a 30-second respawn time. 30 seconds, that's half of what you usually take. So the reason why we take her out, you'll see in a bit. So we take her out and then kablam, we can just put her in. All of a sudden we're looking at a platform unit. And there we go. Also, I'm not quite sure if an artifact did or did not trigger. So maybe this artifact doesn't work on the ground. Maybe it does. I am unsure. But yeah, here we have the slow. We should have more than enough time. Reason being that he's probably, he's gonna summon another Forsaken Totem. We can pull off another ultimate. Keep in mind, Diao did die here, but we beat Gear Dungeon, we beat Gear Rate 121 with just her and Artemis. It is so easy to add in another DPS, be it Iona, be it anybody else, and this fight goes even smoother. But what are the numbers? Sheesh! She's out damaging Artemis. Like, keep in mind, Artemis is not only built for this fight, not only does he do magic damage, he's also in the right curse faction. He's getting provided with the stuns, with the slows for the damage increase that he could be looking for. We're running Ayn as our lord, and she's doing it. This is unbelievable. This is truly unbelievable. Very nice. Like, honestly, very, very nice. So yeah, now the only thing we need to see is how tanky is a full damage build. Alright, so here we are in our Tank Fest tank test, and this is how we're going to be doing it. They're both going to get support of a Vortex, but that is about it. We're also not going to ult with Vortex. And we're going to be blocking off the top lanes, meaning we're not going to lose because they're just going to kill Oleg. But the boss is going to get more and more attack percent, and the question is, when do they break? The longer the tank holds out, the better the tank. Quite the simple math. So our candidate is going to be a Unshaken Will Oleg, as well as a Vortex on the side. We're already at 8 stacks, and I'll be there. We'll skip to when he breaks. Still going strong. And this is when he broke 42 stacks. So it took 42 stacks, or a 420% attack increase, for Oleg the Wall to fall. So let's see how far Talin can get. So DPS Talin is prepared, but what you can see is we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 HP substats. But they pretty much just randomly happen to be on the gear. I mean, we could put in, not maybe Rage Region. Who really cares, right? So there we go. Rage Region is acquired. We've reduced the HP, so now we have 3 sources of HP. Artifact shouldn't really make too much of a difference, but I'm guessing Spirit Siphon. You know what's possible is for Talin to be able to kill the boss, right? That would actually be quite hilarious to see, that if she's able to do the 10 million before. Though I guess the boss does get healed by these minions coming in, so maybe that's not gonna happen, you know? Probably not gonna happen, but yeah. So far so good, and we're also going to trigger her ultimate because it does make her stronger. So 0 stacks she can tank, which is good, right? Keep in mind Oleg broke at, what was that, 42? And look at the damage he's taking. It is 13,000, but we're also in a DPS build, right? We're looking at a straight up DPS build. So we're still good for 6 stacks. Oh yeah, the moment you know that she would have been able to solo the AMR boss is when the final damage is higher than 10 million. If the final damage dealt by her is higher than 10 million, then that means if you were to just defend the sides, she could solo the boss. So currently at 7 stacks, we're already struggling somewhat. 9 stacks. We're still barely surviving. So 9 stacks, or a 90% attack increase. And that is us going full DPS. Now, while we do quit the battle, we'll also check out the DPS, right? We'll check out how much damage she was able to deal to kind of get an idea. So 6.293 million, which means in a normal scenario, Talin is easily able to solo this AMR boss without any struggles before the fight ends. So if you were just to defend the sides, she would be able to not only tank, but also solo the AMR boss all by herself. So now let's give it a shot with a full tank gear. So another thing that makes it somewhat unique is that she does transform her attack into more defense. So even her artifact is going to add more defense. Her base attack is going to add more defense, and any attack percent or attack flat substats you have on your tank gear is also going to be able to add towards making her more tanky. So yeah, that is pretty impressive. You know what I'm wondering? What if we give her what if we give her the Ica Chalice? Because now that seems broken. Like, I don't know about you, but holy, this seems illegal. Like, having Ica Chalice on a ground unit, no, that's an illegal gamer move. You can't do that. So she's now in full tank gear with an artifact that regenerates 5% max HP every single time she attacks, in a set that generates 5% max HP every time she gets attacked, in a ultimate during which the hero restores 5% of their max HP for the hero and adjacent allies, and also removes debuffs every 5 seconds. This is disgusting. So, holy shit. We can have a look at her final healing at the end. Obviously her damage is not going to be as impressive anymore, but that's not really what we're here for. So, holy shit. Like, Iker Chalice on a tank, on a fighter, and also it still adds damage, right? Keep in mind, Iker Chalice, while it also gives you HP, it also still adds damage. Look at these healing numbers. Like, I know the biggest part comes from Vortex, but Jesus, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. So we're at 10 stacks. We're still solidly tanking. We're now at 12 stacks. We're not dying. Okay, we're taking 60k damage per hit. That's quite a lot, right? We're at 20 stacks. Come on. Can we get another ult out? Yes, we might be able to. No, 96,000. But 26 stacks for a fighter? Like, this is more than enough. This is more than enough to work wherever you really want it. Like, think about the implications of this. It is a fighter that can wear the Iker Chalice. It is nuts. Like, it is completely outrageous. And that is from her normal part, her being a fighter. Like, you're not supposed to play her as a fighter. And also, the higher the attack speed, the more basic attacks, the more, damn, the more she heals. Like, restore 5% HP, then you have a set effect of when attacked recovers 5% of max HP, triggers up to 1 time every 5 seconds, and then during the ultimate, you have restore when taking direct damage restores 5% of the max HP for the hero and adjacent allies, meaning that during her ultimate, you have every single attack as well as every single second, because if we take a look at her attack speed, obviously her attack speed is a bit low in bear stance, but you could say you regenerate 10% max HP per second, as well as 5% max HP every 5 seconds. On top of that, you're getting the additional damage reduction during the bear stance, and you're dispelling 1 debuff from the hero every 5 seconds too. Like, holy shit. Holy shit. That's ridiculous. Does it probably... Is there, like, there's a chance she's viable as a tank. There is a chance she's viable as a tank for Gear 3. For Abyss 1. Oh, also, reminder. Let's do a little bit of math here. We regenerate 5% of max HP per attack. Did you catch how much HP we regenerated? 9,000. Now let's multiply 9,000. Let's multiply 9,000 by 20. What do we get? 180,000. So we're looking at a fighter that could be placed. We're looking at a unit that could be placed on a platform. But if you were to put them in a tank set, you're looking at a tank that restores 10% HP per second, so 18,000 HP during ultimate at 5%. It cleanses, and you're having an HP base of 180,000. This is wrong. Like, this is too good. This is too good. Oh, and also don't forget the fact that if you were to give her the A1, you can stack that defense increase even higher. If you give her the the A1 doesn't really make too much of a difference. Besides, like, if you're looking at like a damage tank hybrid, but also every time you ult, and starting from A3, you're getting these stacks, and also every time you're also getting a higher cap, and then on the A5. For every 1 stack of Thorn Shield reduces the hero's AoE damage taken by 1%. So with the A3 it's going up to a 20% AoE damage reduction because it's only 1%. So you have a 20% AoE reduction. And now when Thorn Shield reaches full stacks, the hero survives when receiving fatal damage for the first time. So you're also gaining invulnerability on this unit. Ah, what? 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 This is crazy. What? So before we get to the finale of this, which is obviously seeing if she can not only tank Abyss 1, but most importantly if she can deal damage, just look at the different team opportunities, the different team possibilities that are now just out there, like things you can now do. For example, if you have an Ingrid, you have 2 very solid sources of magic damage already in the Watcher faction. You have 2 incredibly great sources of physical damage in the Watcher faction, and then you can use Inspiration. You could use a Constance if you need a ground unit, you could use a Diao if you need a platform unit. And then you can pair it with whatever the fuck you want. Like for example, you could use a Yova to add in more physical, a Silas to add in more physical, so you can deal with the 60 million shield. You could add in a Hex so that you're able to deal with better with the magic shield. The only downside from like this team combination is the fact that you don't have Percy and Aelin in a team, meaning the base stats are lower. And also the real question is in this team, how exactly are we meant to apply the damage reduction? So probably for the best would be something like taking out Silas, moving out Constance, and then just putting in Lucius, who's like already super prominent. So then you have 3 incredible sources of physical damage, 2 incredible sources of magic damage, and then like all the freedom in the world to pick like the rest down there. For example, it could also be a Soul Cadence, but then you would have like a very heavy magic damage. But that might just be what you need for your account. Like the possibilities are, there's so many. Like there's so many possibilities that she opens up with. You could run it then in a Watcher comp, or for example, you could be like, alright, I don't like a Watcher comp. You could go back to your normal Infernal comp, where you, for example, have Torador as the tank, and then you can add in a Volker, and then you're pretty much done with like your Infernal part. And then you're wondering, okay, how exactly do we deal with like the magic damage and stuff? And then you could be, for example, running a Piercer side magic damage with two magic damage Piercers. And then let's reintroduce Aelin wherever she disappeared. So something like this would be possible. Or you could also, like, this probably isn't going to break the 27 million shield, but there is a chance it does. Or obviously, if you have it set up like this, you could, for example, technically take out like a Volker and then introduce another source of magic damage. It's just, it brings so much usefulness to like these factions. The important part, what you need to keep in mind, is you now have a single target magic damage dealers for the Watchers. So, for example, if you go to Watchers and you go to single target, there's just no one there besides Alistar, but Alistar really doesn't do that much damage. So she's like the first real single target magic damage dealer. Okay, Ingrid is a thing, but you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean. And the same is kind of true for the Piercers, where for the Piercers you now have like 2. The only 2 are her and Hex. There's only 2. So there's that, right? There's only 2 units that fill this very specific role. So she just makes team building so much more accessible, right? And that is not even considering the fact that potentially you could even run her as a tank. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Alright, so obviously there's a lot of ways we can build this team, and this team is probably not going to be able to hit 60k because we kind of have like a bit of an imbalance towards physical damage. rather than an imbalance towards magical damage. Like you can see, we have a total of 4 magic damage dealers. We're only having 2 physicals, so most likely we're going to be failing on the 60 million shield. But I only really want to see like how does she perform here? What can we expect? I'm already like 95 to 97% convinced that we might as well just call it a must summon. But let's check it out that final time, see how she performs, and then figure out the rest. So far so good. And then obviously we can bring Phineas in here, Torda out there, and then here, yeah, we need to cover 3. So that's how we do it. Okay, Drake's Bellow. Obviously we're gonna try and counter with Kigiri, perfect. Here, Wukong, it's just a no-brainer. Storm Surge, it doesn't really matter, it doesn't do that much damage anyway. Drake's Bellow again, we should be fine. Aelin now has her full stacks. Worm's Wrath, do we need to prepare anything huge? No. Yeah, we have a humongous imbalance when it comes to physical and magical damage. But this might just be a more realistic look at what kind of team you want to build when it comes to beating the 27 million magic damage shield, right? Even though, keep in mind, all of these units are obviously A5, so it's not like the best of examples. But still, so here we're gonna try and activate Talin early, because her ultimate should be back reasonably fast. We can then also trigger Soul Cadence. Soul Cadence also is only running a single other Inferno unit alongside of him, so keep that in mind too. Our Kigiri promotion didn't really work, so our Kigiri isn't as strong as he could be, isn't as strong as he should be. So there's a couple mistakes that are just like just pretty much just happening. Drake's Bellow, do we need to defend? No. Okay, now getting into the magic phase, what do we want to do? So yeah, she's not ult ready, which means we're not gonna do that again. I guess we're getting her like ready after the shield, meaning that her stats are gonna look better than they should have been looking. But yeah, let's see if maybe we can get Kigiri ready in time so we can run another Kigiri rotation at least. Looks good. Yep, there we go. So at least we were able to get this Kigiri rotation. So now onto the physical shield. It's gonna be a tough one, but we shall see if we have what it takes. So here for Storm Surge, do we get lucky with the damage reduction? No, so there was no damage reduction from Phineas, which led to us losing her, which I guess is fine, but it's also not going to tell you anything about her capabilities, which is really not that great. So Worm's Wrath comes in, we keep everything the same. We trigger our bonuses, shield pops, we wait for around like the 90% mark, trigger Kigiri, Kigiri gets his perfect hits in, and we are able to at least deal with the 27 million shield. So that means there should be another chance at least for our dead girl to come back in and make a play. Yeah, alright, Drake's Bellow. Here we want to trigger Aelin again. Probably just in case for C2, honestly. Can never really hurt. Another Drake's Bellow, which we luckily avoid with her being dead, but there she goes, she's back. Alright, Meteoric Deluge. We can already start with our magic resistant units. We can activate Kigiri. Yeah, and then already get ready for the magic shield. So we did lose Kigiri. How exactly? I don't know. Maybe we timed him a bit too early. But this is, I guess, like the final magic shield test, right? If we successfully beat the shield, we're good. You can see we did it with like a lot of time left. So there's obviously a lot of possibilities of like running other comms to like do more physical damage. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is kind of like where the journey ends, you know. But yeah, the damage output is obviously incredible because we've been running everything A5. Her dying there, I wish I knew. Obviously we should have just used our abilities, but still. Let's check out the numbers. Let's check out the numbers here. I know it's very unfair towards her. It's by no means a proper representation. But keep in mind, she was basically dead like all the time. She didn't really get a chance to shine. Also, we triggered her ultimate at like inopportune moments. She's good. Like don't get that twisted, right? I hope at least it was able to help you in the sense of like inspiring you when it comes to team building. That's like, I think, one of the most important factors with her here. And yeah, I don't know, like Abyss 1, she has to be good. Like there is no way that she's not good. But also we spent like the last, I don't know, 6 hours filming everything together, so I guess a bit of like exhaustion setting in. I'll definitely make like a more specialized Abyss guide with her, especially the closer we get to her release, showing you hopefully a team of everything A0, being able to at minimum get the 12k chest, which is kind of where everyone wants to be at, and then preferably, if possible, the 22k chest, but I see that as rather unlikely. So let's honestly get to the conclusion. We've done a lot, we've played around a lot with her, and I have to say I am very, very pleasantly surprised by her. So not only do you not need her A5 to unlock her full potential, which is already like a good thing for everyone that is summoning, but now let's go through the things one by one, right? You have a unit that is really good at dealing damage. Not quite hex level, but that is because she's missing an exclusive. If she gets an exclusive, she's probably on hex level of damage, and that is even against an A5 hex. You're looking at someone that even in their bare form, even in the secondary form, is performing incredibly well. Tanky, ridiculous interaction. I still cannot believe that this is even legal. Like that you can run a Icar Chalice on a fighter. This is just, it's too much. It is too much. Like maybe I'm interpreting things into it wrong, but I mean let's look at another fighter, and obviously the artifact here would be this one at 25, where like look at this. If you're an AoE hero and Lunar Sea Visor is on you can at maximum restore 3.6% max HP. And show me a fighter that can have 180,000 HP. Show me a fighter that can have 180,000 HP, unless we're talking Jira, okay? Unless we're talking Jira, right? Still being able to dish out damage. It is disgusting. Next up, something we haven't even really used is she has the ability to dispel. So if you still don't have a perfect solution to dispel, or are looking for a very, very strong solution to do damage in Guild Boss 2, she's your girl, right? She's your girl. I would rank her easily higher than Lyra. Like, her versus Lyra feels like an unfair competition for Lyra, which is crazy. Faction-wise, the factions are amazing. The PS Test needed another source of magic damage. Watch us getting another source of single target magic damage is also incredible. Yeah, you have 15% attack stacking here. You have attack interval reduction, magic rest ignore here. You're stacking even more attack through Thorn Shield, meaning you could also like go out of your way to be using crit damage pieces instead. This is also how we went into Abyss 1 with a crit damage main stat. Obviously might not be optimal. Shadow Gaze works on her. You have also the option to be running Blightcaller's Claw, where you can then also deal like extra physical damage. You have the Ichor Chalice. I mean, damn! Redeployment time, you have a redeployment time of 45 seconds, introduce a Volca into the mix, and all of a sudden you're looking at a redeployment time of 30 seconds, which is half of what everybody else is redeploying as. You've seen our tests in Gear Dungeon 2. She can replace Hex 1-for-1, bar for bar in Gear Dungeon 2, be it at the top lane, killing the physicals, be it at the left, killing the physical resistance, be it at the left lane, killing the physical resistance. She can kill both at the same time. She can kill the top lane while then respawning fast enough to kill the left side. It is, it is disgusting. If you really are a gambling man, her bear stance can also perform in Gear Dungeon 2, allowing you to push back at the bottom at a 42% chance, which obviously isn't like a whole lot, but there's also, we didn't went like extremely extreme on the attack speed. You could maybe squeeze out like 8, potentially 9 attacks, but still, I wouldn't recommend doing it, but it is a possibility. Her bear stance was able to do more damage than an Artemis in Gear rate 121. We were able to 2 DPS clear 121 with Artemis and Bear Form Berserker Stance Talin. I mean, she's incredible. Yeah, that's honestly all I have left to say. That's all I have left to say. She is absolutely incredible.